Welcome back, everybody. Today, I'm bringing you 5 games for the autumn season. And what I wanted to focus on with this list was the changing colors, the beautiful yellows, oranges, and reds that are unique to the fall season. It would have been really easy for me to just do 5 horror games and say, well, yeah, Halloween's in autumn, so we're doing 5 Halloween games, 5 horror games. Now, I have a couple of horror games, but those choices also try to fit within the fall theme instead of being completely unrelated. So, let's start off here with a game that actually did not qualify, Golf vs. Zombies. When I saw this game, I had no clue what to expect, but I just know that I like golf games, and hey, zombies and this orange backdrop, this could be a perfect game for this list. How this game plays is like a standard golf game for the most part, but after you take any shot and your ball lands on the fairway, the rough, it doesn't really matter, zombies emerge from the ground and start to swarm you. If they get to you, that's it. You gotta restart the course, you've basically been killed. And what you have to do here is kind of like a Duck Hunt inspired game. You just aim your cursor and you got the ball trajectory in mind and you're just trying to whack the zombies in the head, shooting them with the golf ball. Problem is, it gets incredibly repetitive, and this actually slows down the golf component of the game far too much. So when I wanted to focus on the courses, planning my shots, trying to finish in as few shots as possible, I would be paused and interrupted every single time with these zombies emerging. I get it, that's the game, it's combining golf and zombies. I just didn't realize it would be this 2-turn approach, where basically on your first turn, you're shooting and you're playing golf, and then the second turn, you're trying to deal with these zombies. And it repeats over and over and over again. Also, with the golf courses themselves, there's really not that much to explore. They could have done a lot here. I feel like there's actually a lot of untapped potential in the game. So you can see here as I'm moving my camera around, I'm trying to find something that's on the extremities on the golf course or maybe in the rough, like a little bonus collectible, anything that'd be worthwhile, but there are no objectives outside. There's just a few things that dot the golf course itself, and that's about it. Still, if you don't mind the look of this game, if you're looking for something a little bit different or gimmicky, check it out. If it's a couple bucks, maybe up to $5 tops, it's not going to be the worst purchase of your life. It just did not qualify for this list, and I'm a little disappointed by that because it really has a unique premise. The first game to properly kick off this list, my first recommendation, is Elden Ring. Now, I knew well ahead of time that Elden Ring was probably going to make this list. When you play the game in the first open area, it's amazing the color palette that they chose. So many yellows, so many golden colors. Still in a bit of a grassy landscape, so it kind of takes you from the summer into the fall if you want to view it that way. But I could not believe the artistic choices that they made. And there's so much land to explore, and much of the land is decorated like this. So if you play this game at the beginning of the season, you really do feel like the transition of summer to autumn is happening, both in real life and in the game. The nice thing about Elden Ring is that because it's open world, you have time to actually appreciate the environments. Sure, you've always got to be aware of danger, but usually once you clear an area of its enemies, you can stop and stand still, take in all of the surroundings, and just admire the artwork, admire the work that's gone into the game to detail the environments, because there really are some fantastic pieces in this game. Now, sure, the whole game is not decorated like this. There's plenty of caves and other environments that are going to take you away from the fall aesthetic a little bit, but you'll be so immersed in the game. And I think now is a great time to play it because the game received a DLC. And it's not just a small little minor DLC. I haven't played it, but what I understand is that this is basically an extra half a game. So if you're looking for a good time to try Elden Ring, you've been saving it in your backlog for a little while, I think now is the perfect time to get into it. Next up is Need for Speed Most Wanted, and I really want to be clear here, I am talking about the game from 2005 that I played on the PlayStation and not the remake. I don't know whether the remake is better or worse. I've read a lot of interesting comments about it online and people not wanting to support EA, fair enough. Let's just talk about 2005. The game, of course, is set in the fall, and so as you drive around, if you're able to take your time a little difficult in a game like this because you always want to be racing and going fast, you can actually admire the cityscape and the urban fall aesthetic. If you're a little bit older like me, I think this game is going to pull you right back into the 2000s. The story, the dialogue, the characters, the writing for the game, it's also cheesy. It's like they were trying to go for this Fast and the Furious type of game, but when they make an attempt to deliver it all so seriously, it just comes off as ridiculous. Good for having a laugh at, though. Good for poking fun at. The races themselves, they're pretty fun. The car handling is fine. Of course, you're going to be able to upgrade your car, so if you're not satisfied with how it feels at the beginning, you will work to improve it. They do give you a taste of how great the handling can be because they start the game in an incredible car, and so it is a good racing game. It is solid in that aspect. It's just that they want to put you on training wheels to begin and grind your way through. Like I said, it's a fun game. It's pretty silly, don't take it too seriously, and if you ever stop and admire the cityscape, then you'll notice those colors poking through. It's a good one for relaxing with on the side. The third game on this list is another one that could easily occupy your entire season. It could occupy your entire winter, and it could take you right into 2025. This is a long game, and it is The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. So I was a little hesitant to include this on the list with Elden Ring. That's not a real rule, so whatever. The thing is, like Elden Ring, this game, when it starts out in the tutorial area, has all these beautiful yellowy golden colors. So right away, you're dropped into what feels like the fall. And I remember my first time experiencing the game, one of the things that blew me away was the environment. Sure, the abilities are great, they're a lot of fun, they're going to take over the experience for you, but I could not help but admire how different they went in their approach to this game. Of course, when you get back to the familiar lands of Hyrule, that's where you're going to be seeing the mountains and some snowscapes, the whole variety. There's deserts, lakes, everything is in this Zelda. But there's one area in the overworld that you can also go to if you want to immerse yourself in the fall a little bit, and that is the Akkala region. Now, the Akkala region is in the northeast portion of the map, and this is where it feels more like a traditional late fall season. Many of the trees are filled with these red leaves. The ground has some different colors on it as well. It feels like there's a little more dirt in the area instead of there just being a bunch of bright green, vivid grasses. Of course, you've still got your lakes and your little ponds, and you can look out towards the east where the water is. During any time of day, if it's later in the evening, you can catch a sunset, early morning with the sunrise. Just stroll through here. Take it all in. Enjoy it. You know, Zelda fans usually talk about their favorite regions in these games, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and I feel like the Akkala region is pretty underrated. A lot of people like Hebra, the cold, snowy region, or maybe even the Gerudo Desert, or a couple of the towns, but just walking through here, like I described, to be able to see all those different colors, I think this is a great game for transporting you into the video game version of autumn. The next game on this list is Momodora Reverie Under the Moonlight. It's got one of those longer, fancier, Japanese-sounding titles, but it's actually a Western indie game, and a really good one at that. Actually, what I want to say before even describing it as a fall game is that this is one of my favorite games of the year. I'd been eyeing it for so long. It was actually on my backlog after waiting years for it to go on sale, and just sitting there, waiting for me to play it. This video was the perfect reason to finally do so. And I'm so glad that I did, because now I can play the rest of the games in the series. And this is coming from someone who's not a big Metroidvania fan. I like my puzzle games, my RPGs, my adventures. It's not that the Metroidvania genre is bad or anything. I don't dislike it. It's just not what I gravitate towards. But this game, playing it on normal difficulty, really pulled me in. I think normal could have been a touch too easy, at least at times, but that's okay. I don't regret that I didn't play the game on hard. Normal gave me the opportunity to experience more about the game. It let me take in the environments, which are beautifully done, especially in a lot of the areas where you have time to stand still and time to admire things. I feel like they added a few extra details. You can notice more assets moving with the breeze, or if it's an area that's got some water, then sure, there's more stuff floating around in the water. Your primary weapon is a leaf, so I thought, oh, that's perfect. You know, not only did they design a game with a fall aesthetic, but they really leaned heavily into that with this leaf. And so you'll see all these excellent animations, you'll see things kick up beneath your feet, the different environments. There's one in particular, maybe about a midway point through the game, where I feel like they just brightened everything up. Again, with those golden colors that I've mentioned in Elden Ring and in Tears of the Kingdom, there's a level like that. There's also the typical haunted type of castle with ghost enemies. So there's a lot to enjoy about this game. It's a relatively short experience, but I thought it was the perfect length. It's replayable, and there are some things that you can achieve when you replay it. If you've never played this game, even if you're not a fan of Metroidvanias, I feel like this is a great one for beginners. If you get stuck, hey, don't hesitate to look anything up. But part of the fun of the game is also backtracking to the point where you may have a different route that you could take, and all of a sudden, a new portion of the map sprawls open for you. So I can't say enough good things about the game, but I will stop right now, and I'll talk about it later at the end of the year when I talk about my games beaten. Momodora, Reverie Under the Moonlight. Check it out. Finally, to close out this list, maybe a little bit of a cliche for these types of lists, Luigi's Mansion. I've talked about 2 so many times on the channel, so let me go back to Luigi's Mansion 1. And first and foremost mention that this game is not dated. You can still go back or play it for the first time and really enjoy it. That said, if you enjoy Luigi's Mansion 3, go ahead and play that this season. Or maybe you haven't gone to Luigi's Mansion 3 yet, like myself, and so now is the time to play it. But in Luigi's Mansion 1, of course, it opens up with the haunted house, or the stereotypical look of a haunted house, I should say. The game has ghosts, the game has spider webs and cobwebs, and those creepy sounds, the flashing and crashing of thunder and lightning, all of the things that make it perfect for Halloween. So if you want to save this game for one more month and then play it then, well, I won't blame you. In case any of you are unaware of this game, what happens is Luigi's basically won a contest where he won this mansion as the prize, and at the same time as he's going to explore it, it just so happens that Mario, his brother, got lost here. So he's trying to find his brother. He's trying to help Professor Egad recapture ghosts for his gallery collection, and all these little things. I want to mention some of those story elements because there's a lot of wit and some clever writing in a lot of the dialogue. So as you play the game and read what the different toads and characters have to say, I think you'll get a kick out of it. These older Mario games do a great job of having humorous dialogue. Now in the mansion itself, there's a lot to take in. You can knock on different desks and pull out drawers. You can blow out the candles, pull the curtains, and just see what happens. There's a lot of little treats and coins hidden behind the various objects. Sometimes there's ghosts that you'll have to combat, but I think part of the fun is taking your time in the haunted house and seeing what will emerge. So for me, this season, I hope somebody will hold me accountable and make sure that I play Luigi's Mansion 3 finally. But if you haven't tried the series yet, check out Luigi's Mansion 1. Or Luigi's Mansion 2 Dark Moon just got remade and re-released for the Switch. And that was a really fun game that I've actually done a review for on the channel for the 3DS version. A lot of options for getting into the series, and I'm sure you're going to have a great time with any of the entries. And that is it. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed the entries. Maybe you've never heard of Momodora. Maybe you've got to go back and play Need for Speed from 2005. Whatever it is, enjoying the holidays, the comforting festivities of Thanksgiving. Whoa! Jeez. Or spooky Halloween, if that's something that you look forward to. I hope you have a fantastic season, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!